So Zohran Mamdani has managed to recover $104 million in extra tips for New York City workers from delivery apps. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, my name is Dr. Ian Phillips, and we're going to talk about it. So New York City just enacted this brand new policy whereby essentially the tip button now has to be put on the checkout page for these delivery apps. Things like DoorDash, things like Uber Eats, for example. Imagine that if you guys have ever used them before, you have your normal checkout page. And the checkout page has the total amount for your food. It's going to have your taxes. It's going to have the fees for like DoorDash, for example. And then you have the total amount of what it's going to cost. And then you hit checkout. And only after you check out from the checkout page, then it prompts you to put your tip in for the workers who are going to be delivering your food. Now, as a consequence of that, that means that the total that you originally seen was actually less than what it should have been. Meaning, from a company perspective, they're thinking, oh, well, if it's less, then people are going to be more likely moving forward to potentially keep coming back to our company and giving us more business, and therefore we can make more money. But what did that do to the worker? Well, the worker essentially gets screwed over there, and then people end up tipping less when it's not on that same page. Now, I don't exactly know the psychology behind that here, but what I can tell you is that before this policy, where they changed the tip button having to go on the checkout page, and it's a minimum of a 10% button, and then usually companies put like 15% or 20%, and then they got like a custom amount too. You could put 0 or you could put a million if you wanted to, right? But instead of having that on, now that that's on the checkout page, it means that the average tips have rose from $1.18 before this policy per delivery to now $2.29 per delivery after this checkout requirement took effect. Meaning that, again, not every individual dasher is going to receive this, but on average here per year, you might receive about $2,200 to about $2,300 more per delivery worker for this little change. Which is great because it really helps out the individual. The tips go to the individual anyways, and so the company's not really losing money in that respect. Maybe the actuaries worked out that it makes sense financially to have the tip button be after the checkout page. But at the end of the day, the companies are growing. It's one of the fastest growing businesses out there. People love delivering stuff to either their home or their place of business, wherever they reside, their girlfriend's house, wherever. They're delivering stuff constantly. And so the businesses are already growing like mad. And then, you now pair that with the fact that there's like a minimum wage requirement for these delivery workers in New York City. Plus, they're now getting these extra tips. Now you can make a reasonable living. And the company, at the end of the day, is still really not hurting as a consequence of this practice. So I think it's probably a good thing that this happened. There's room for debate. Obviously, you could say, well, it's not, they should be able to run a business however they want. It's a free country. And yes, I kind of agree with you. But the fact that there's such a little change, I don't necessarily see evidence that this is actually harming the businesses. At least when you look at the literature on this, then I think that this is probably a fine thing. And I think that they should continue doing this. And I think the workers should continue to make the money that they're entitled to. It's their tip money. And so if the people want to tip, then they can keep tipping. And so I don't necessarily see this as a bad thing. I see this as a relatively good thing. And now $104 million in extra tips for New York City workers so far. I think that that's pretty good. So I'm not going to complain here, and I don't think that you should either. But if you did enjoy the video here today, guys, and you did enjoy the story about our beloved Mayor Mamdani. Now, I'm not in New York, but sometimes I wish I was, just so I could have Mamdani here. He can come to my city. Wouldn't that be even better? If you did enjoy the video, you guys can hit that like and subscribe button for some more content. Comment down below what you think, and we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.